Doing CELTA assignments? If you've got to the language skills related task, the skills assignment as it's often called, and you want to know how AI can help with it, keep watching. I'm Jo Gakonga. I'm a teacher educator and I've been a CELTA tutor and assessor for over 20 years. I've also got a website at elttraining.com and where I make video-based support material for English language teachers at all stages of their careers. Check it out, and if you like this, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. I make a new video every week. Before you go any further, as with any of these videos I've got on CELTA assignments and AI, make sure you check with your tutor before you use AI in any way. Different centres have different rules for this and you don't want to fall foul of them. As well as that, there are always two important things to keep in mind, as you can see here in the NAL guidelines. Firstly, using AI is the same as using any reference material. You need to be transparent about what you've done and what you've used. You need to begin a new search, copy the link, take screenshots of what you did so that somebody could see what you used and how you adapted it. The second thing is that, again, as with any reference material, but even more so, you need to make sure that you're engaging critically with whatever it gives you. You can't just take it at face value because sometimes it's wrong. So use your intuition as a fluent speaker of English and do your research in other places as well. Okay, with those caveats and provisos out of the way, AI is a helpful friend and it will be for your teaching life. So it seems to me it's a good idea to learn how to take best advantage of it. Here are some ideas on how it can help you with the language skills related task. You can see a walkthrough of this assignment here, but a brief overview is that you take a text. In some centres they'll give you one, in others they'll ask you to find an authentic text that you like, such as a newspaper article. You have to do some research into receptive and productive skills development and then say why the text is suitable for your learners and devise appropriate tasks for developing receptive skills, that's reading and listening, and productive skills, speaking or writing. Let's look at these things one by one. With this task, you need to do some reading around skills development and cite this, and it's still important to do this in the old-fashioned way. Look at some of the books recommended by your centre and find out more about receptive and productive skills to give a rationale for your tasks. This background will also give you a better ability to do what I keep saying is important and critically appraise the tasks that AI can produce. I'm going to work on the assumption that you're dealing with a written text. You could do the assignment on listening text, but it's easier to show with the written words, so let's stick to that here. Here's the example I'm going to work with. You have your text and you want to see if it's appropriate for your learners. If you want to know what the level of the text is, you can paste it into Vocab Kitchen and it'll tell you how difficult the vocabulary in the text is. You have to be a bit careful with this. It'll give you an idea, but it's not perfect because it only deals with single words. And vocabulary is made up of more than this. For example, look is an A1 word and so is up and to. But look up to means something different and it's B2 level. Putting the text here in Vocab Kitchen will also help you to pick out any vocabulary that you might need to pre-teach. Remember, you can't pre-teach everything they're not likely to know, especially with an authentic text. So aim for anything that will block their understanding of the whole text and anything they need to know to answer the questions that you ask. You can ask AI to pick out words for you, but it doesn't do it so well. With this, it tends to choose too much vocabulary and it's often not needed, or it would be known, frankly. So here's an example from ChatGPT. At B1 level, I would definitely expect that smoker, mobile phone, extra life, shave my head, achieve my goal would all be known. And the only word here that's really important to understand the text is uninhabited island. So you could ask for words to pre-teach, but treat the list it gives you critically. Let's look at reading skills next. You'll probably need to devise a task for reading for gist and another for reading for specific information. Gist first. Gist tasks aren't easy. You want something that makes sure that learners have an overview of the whole text, but how do you do this without asking specific questions? If you put in the text and ask Gemini or ChatGPT to give you a gist task, they don't do it very well. They'll give you a list of comprehension questions, but that's not what you want. You could give learners the title of the article and ask them to predict the content, maybe in pairs, and then elicit some ideas from them, and then they read to check. You don't need AI for this, but it won't work with every text. Can you see the problem in the case with this task? Smoker to spend month alone on tiny Scots Island in bid to break cigarette habit. The title tells the whole story. There's actually no need to read at all. How about a couple of other ideas that AI can help you with? Here we go. Remember, you have to be critical. The first one is to give your learners 3 different titles so that they read quickly and decide which is the best. You can, of course, make these up, but AI can take the back work out of it, leaving you to critically choose between the ideas it generates. I put the text into ChatGPT and asked it, give me 3 possible titles for this article. 1 should be good and 2 should be bad titles, and this is what I got. If you don't like these, just ask for more. Now, decide which 2 of these 4 are the best or the most plausible for your learners, and use these with the good title for your gist task. I asked Gemini to do the same with much less successful results. In this case, the AI gave me titles that were less good but still appropriate. As with all things AI, the important thing here is to try out different tools, different prompts, and don't be afraid to be critical and edit the result. A second gist task could be to give the paragraph subtitles and ask the learners to match the mixed up titles with the paragraphs. Again, in this case, ChatGPT gave me a pretty reasonable set of subheadings. You can see them here. But Gemini's were too complex, and in one case just factually wrong. Cold showers aren't mentioned in the text at all. Let's move on now to comprehension questions. AI can generate questions that require an overall understanding of the text and reasonable true-false questions, including answers. Just ask it. There are 3 main issues to watch out for though. Issue number 1, it doesn't differentiate questions that can be answered from real-world knowledge. Issue number 2, some of the questions it generates will include language that can just be lifted from the text, maybe without being understood. And issue number 3, language grading. You can ask it to make the language simpler, but to be honest, it's easier just to edit it yourself. With all of these, a useful way forward is to ask for more questions than you need. So ask for 15 if you want 10, for example, and then use the best ones. Just weed out the ones that have issues 1 and 2 and edit any of the others to make sure that the language grading is okay for your class. In your assignment, you want to explain how and why you did this. So that's the receptive skills side of things, but what about tasks to develop productive skills, speaking and writing? AI does a good job of this. I asked it for 3 speaking activities that would be useful from the topic of the text, and I got these 3, all of which I feel are useful and relevant. So your job here is to critically decide which would be the most suitable for your learners based on their age, their ability, their interests. You might also want to include how you would set the activity up, any potential difficulties there might be with it. For example, with the language needed or the setup, classroom management issues such as, I don't know, more confident learners dominating the talk, for example. I hope that this has been useful. Look out for the other videos in this series and good luck with your assignments.